The history of the Earth people. 50th anniversary celebration, yeah. Well, the Earth People movement I founded 50 years ago in India as a 24-year-old. So simple. 2 guiding truths. There are no foreign people. Earth people cherish all ethnic communities, yeah. Well, dark forces, to sustain and to justify their cruel, truly terrorizing, old-fashioned, anachronistic power, yeah, over humanity, the nations promote the unsustainable illusion that our world is thick with strange and dangerous foreign people. In reality, no foreign people exist. We're all indigenous earthlings. We all emerge from the same divine source. From the sacred bodies of our loving mothers, yeah. Human life is that pure. Simple. Imagine our planet with abundant, healthy, smiling, creative, spiritually fulfilled Earth people. My vision is not a woo-woo, spiritually unattainable baby boomer fantasy. Why? I'm living proof. For the last 50 years, I've lived as an Earth person. Yeah, toe to head. Spiritually, legally. Yeah. So, the following 3 sets of video clips throw abundant sunshine onto these 2 truths. There are no foreign people. Earth people cherish all ethnic communities. These video clips are taken from my book, Earth Freaks, The Coming of the Earth People. So you'll watch those and enjoy those, and then after, let me get down into the rootsy, historical prelude to the Earth People movement. Well, 6 months after I renounced my nationality and all nationalities at the American Embassy in Madras in July 1971, that's why it's the 50th anniversary, July 2021. A hippie friend named Tobias Moss, very flamboyant character. He dressed in silk satin and velvet, played a silver side flute. He brought me an application for something called a world passport. Yeah, I was living on the beach in India, wild, free-spirited hippie scene. Everybody was broke and couldn't care less. Yeah. And at the time, I'd never heard ever about the world government or its founder, Gary Davis, who started it all off in 1948. No. And, well, listen, I'm a recently minted Earth person, or stated vulnerably a stateless refugee. I eagerly posted an application for a world travel document, a world passport, to Gary Davis at his headquarters in Basel, Switzerland. And after which, Gary posted me back a world passport, with my picture on it, all the stamp seals and everything. They didn't charge me. It was free as a gift. I didn't have any money to pay for it. He didn't care. Oh, what a relief. I now had in my hand one of these. World passport, yeah. Multiple languages, legal, travel, document. So my fears of being, ending up in a squalid Indian jail, busted by immigration police with no papers, it naturally faded away. Thanks, Gary. Well, along with the New World Passport, Gary sent his memoir, My Country is the World, beautiful book about his growing up into being an Earth person. And most interesting, there was a note. Gary said, look, Earthman, my guru, who gives me all the spiritual foundation to do what I do, is Nataraja Guru. And he's living right now south of Goa. Wow. And Nataraja Guru, world-renowned as the world peace guru, brilliant spiritualist, got degrees in philosophy from the Sorbonne in Paris, hung out in the Haight-Ashbury in San Francisco, became R. Crump's character, Mr. Natural, in his comic strips. Yeah. Nataraja Guru shortly became my guru. So the founder of the World Citizen Movement and me, founder of the Earthpeople Movement, we had the same guru. Yeah, and sustained both of us for the rest of our lives. I can't resist this fantastic backstory. Okay. As I wrote earlier, I had tape recorded my embassy renunciation on my little Sony tape recorder in the U.S. ambassador's office. Well, after that, I assumed the blowback from just being radically free and an Earth person, I'd probably be stranded in India. No passport, no document for the rest of my life. Yeah. Therefore, I meticulously transcribed this tape recording word for word onto paper. And I'm so glad I did that. Yeah, after I transcribed that, I printed 150 copies using a mimeograph machine. Yeah, Earthpeople Manifesto. And I spontaneously just gave it out intuitively to strangers on the streets of Bombay. Street poet, pure street poet. And this raw, unedited, juicy Earthpeople Manifesto, if you want to read the original document, it's on our earthpeopleworldheadquarters.com website. Yeah. Well, the original tape cassette, just one, of my renunciation moment, I gave to a hippie friend named Jenny, a guitarist from Florida. And I said, take it to the United States for me. It was kind of like tossing a baby into a life raft. When I, as the creator, it was too late for me to save myself, but toss the baby on there, gives her the chance to live on. So I tossed that tape cassette to Jenny. And because I figured wandering aimlessly in India, I'd lose it. Zato lifestyle, okay? But before returning to the United States, we're also free, do whatever spiritual whim blows, she ended up traveling to the South India and becoming a devotee of That's right. Not the Raja Guru. Yeah. And, well, unbeknownst to me, I'd even never heard of him yet. The fervent disciples of Nataraja Guru, they were religiously tape recording him on their little tape recorder systems. But oops, they ran out of blank tapes. Mm-hmm. So Jenny dutifully sacrificed my tape cassette to be recorded over with the words of Nataraja Guru. What are the odds? This was months before I even knew Nataraja Guru existed. Okay? Or Gary Davis or the world government. Months before. And my most precious tape of my entire life was recorded over with the words of who was to become my guru, too. Yeah, I mean, 100% unaware of the world citizen movement. As I went through my private spiritual metamorphosis, to become an earth person. Oh, wow. I mean, obviously, spiritual forces from planes too subtle for us to see with our gelatinous orbs we call eyes were weaving their master plan to sink us all up. Well, fast forward 3 years, and Gary Davis, the founder of the World Citizen Movement, and I rendezvous in California. And he stays at my place in Bolinas, a kind of rebel, poetic, lots of marijuana scene, in our north of San Francisco. Bolinas, wild scene back then, and still is, yeah, Bohemian Oceanside Village, yeah. Well, ever vigilant, Gary Davis to mint fresh world citizens, Gary Davis issues world passports to all my friends, all my countercultural friends. Yeah, he carries blank world passport, seals, stamps in his business briefcase. Most of them couldn't pay the $20. He didn't care. On his way back to fly to the East Coast, I'm escorting Gary to the San Francisco airport. We're on Market Street, the main street in San Francisco, and we're at an unexceptional table at Burger King, and Gary gets out his briefcase and gives me an updated world passport issued in Burger King on Market Street. Why? Why all this special attention to me? He's got like hundreds of thousands of followers. Well, Gary recognized that besides himself, I was the only human since him to absolutely walk this stateless person for life path. It was a spiritual necessity. It was obsession. We had no choice. Ever since he stormed the United Nations when he was just 27, he blew out at 27. I blew out in Madras at 24. In Gary's eyes, I was, in fact, world citizen number 2. He did his thing. 27 years went by. I did my thing. Yeah. So he commissioned me as the world government representative for the state of California and gave me the CDs. How that works. Oh, I still have those. Priceless souvenirs. Well, I was deeply touched, of course, but I felt spiritually ambivalent about walking his walk. And after meditating on the possibility, I finally declined his offer. Why? Well, like I said, I'd come to my own realization, independent insight, that I was a world peace innovator. I'd never heard of him until 1971 in Goa, India, when I was 24, 6 months after my renunciation blowout event in Madras, the day the Earthpeople movement began. What a major crossroads in my life. And after deep and thorough contemplation, it became clear to me that Gary Davis and I were a generation apart. Spoke a different language. What he called world citizen, I called earth person. What he called the world government of the world citizens, I called earth people. Naturally, I have a deep leadership streak. And to be authentic, I must be free to speak to my own generation in my own language. 1960s counterculture language. Krishnamurti, he didn't identify with the Theosophical Society, and I didn't identify with Gary Davis's World Government for World Citizens. And furthermore, as a baby boomer growing up in Haight-Ashbury, I've been a lifelong advocate of non-addictive theogenic drugs. Wise use of theogenic drugs. Well, so considering the world government trip, I surmised my lifestyle, and his would be unbridgeable, even if unspoken. And look, as an attractive young 20-year-old, I was comfortable living by my wits if it enhanced my chance to survive or world travel. My lifestyle honors prostitution, free trade, sexual services. I've been both the prostitute and on the receiving end, glamorous Thai bar girls, the receiving end. I've always been upfront about that in my books and so on. And considering my free-spirited attitude towards sex, psychedelic drugs, I surmise that my lifestyle would probably create a scandal in the more traditional milieu of Gary Davis. So I chose to do my own thing. And from a grand perspective, though, our generational differences are mostly surface differences. Deep features of our soul. Essentially, Gary Davis and I are kindred spirits. Same goal, to teach humanity about Earth people. Or as he would say, to teach about world citizens. I'll always remember my last private conversation with Gary Davis. It was Earth Day 2007 at his headquarters in Washington, D.C. And as far as I know, Gary Davis and I are the only two humans to ever become voluntarily stateless for life as a spiritual imperative. So that covers like 73 years. 2 cool cats in 73 years on this path We're rare birds. Fortunately, we're gifted song and dance men, and with abundant gift of gab, we've been able to talk our way across national borders. We're an unrelenting, walking, talking protest against all war, all state terrorism. There's been so much publicity. It's just been September 11th, World Trade Center, jet planes crashing into the World Trade Center. I've watched endless hours of the commentary. Nobody ever talks about the Afghans killed in the last 20 years. The Yanks got it half right. Yeah, the grieving mothers. And what about the grieving Afghan mothers? Hundreds of thousands slaughtered by Americans. Iraq, Vietnam. What about those people? Get it all right. Don't get it half-baked. Oh, your heroes. Yeah, well, they're heroes too. They're Earth people. They all get born from loving mother. They're just so fed up with this one-sided bullshit view. The Western world looks at the rest of civilization. Well, look, thousands of folks switch their nationalities like every year, all the time. Why? To save money on taxes. Yeah, lots of benefits for having an alternative national residence. In fact, there's a backlog. I just read like 6,000 Americans, they want to dump their American citizenship, but they can't process the people that want to jump ship fast enough. Oh, you want a new country? You want to switch nations? Oh, yeah, Malta. Fine. You want a Maltese passport, residency, citizenship, the whole country? No problem. If you're filthy rich. Or they euphemistically call this economic citizenship. Yeah, we'll take about $3 million off you and then, issue, like a passport that costs $100 to print. Oh, Cambodia, they make getting a new country and a new passport even more straightforward. Well, Cambodia. Oh, yeah, in Cambodia, just dump a paper bag full of $100 bills on the desk of the Phnom Penh immigration chief, and that will get this process rolling. You only need 3 signatures in Cambodia. They'll give you their country and the passport. But look, nothing about switching nationalities has anything to do whatsoever with where Gary Davis and I are coming from at all. Well, Gary, he finally achieved a world without borders. He died. And what follows is, I'm going to paraphrase, quite excellent obituary about him. Gary Davis, man of no nation, who saw one world with no war, dies at 91. May 25th, 1948, former World War II bomber pilot entered the American embassy in Paris. He startled everyone. He renounced his American citizenship, astonished the officials there, and declared himself a world citizen #1. Well, in the decades that followed, and right up to the end of his life, Gary remained, by choice, a stateless man. Entering, leaving, being regularly expelled from, and frequently arrested in a spate of countries, carrying a passport of his own making. And the international press chronicled his every move. Yeah, Gary Davis, longtime peace advocate, former Broadway song and dance man, his quest to abolish national borders drew more than 1 million adherents to his cause. Now, he died in Wilmington, Vermont, 91. And though in recent years he was settled down up in Vermont, he enjoyed riding motorcycles, flying airplanes, and he continued to occupy a limbo between citizen and resident. That's what I am, too. I've been in this limbo for almost 50 years. Yeah, he inhabited that for 65 years. But Gary said, look, I'm not a man without a country. Look, I'm in Vermont, huh? Look at the beautiful trees, huh? I'm just a man without nationality. Yeah. Oh, he wasn't the first person to advocate world citizenship. Yeah, famous people like Albert Schweitzer, Albert Einstein, Jean-Paul Sartre, E.B. White. But he was arguably the most visible, vocal, and indefatigable. Most of these other advocates, they were content to lecture in their prestigious universities. But more than 60 years ago, Gary Davis established the World Government for World Citizens. He made it real, external reality with real documents, not just blah, blah, blah. Documents, passports. Yeah, passports. Yeah, this is what I got in India. And they were reverse engineered to help people who were stuck. Oh, you need an exit visa? Well, his passport has... You've got one. That's an international residency document. That way the governments can save face and stop feeding you and get you to move on. Oh, well, that's a residency permit. What else might you need? Well, there's the residency permit. And this is... Oh, you need an exit visa. We can't let you go unless you get an exit visa. I know this is backwards to you, but yeah, so there's your exit visa. Oh, exit visa and a passport. This requires there's like 13 characteristics of a passport. It's got to have your picture on it and so on and so forth. Even this is so sophisticated. It's got the barcode and it can be machine readable. And the background paper is so fine. If you took a magnifying glass up to this, it says the Universal Declaration of Human Rights translated into 27 languages. Even the cover is in 5 languages. You speak Chinese? Okay, there you go. So yeah, he issued all these birth marriage certificates, even his own currency occasionally. And to date, more than 2.5 million people have these world passports. He had to establish, they were so popular, just a special department called the World Service Authority just to print them and distribute them. Well, was he a visionary, utopian, or quixotic knave? Long debated by the press and the public. And, his supporters argue his documents had genuine value for refugees and other stateless people. Personally, his documents kept me out of immigration prison for the last 50 years. How real is that? What is beyond dispute is that Gary Davis's long insistence on the inalienable right to travel anyone, anywhere, prefigures the present-day immigration debate by decades. He's so ahead of his time, huh? It anticipates the issues of Julian Assange, WikiLeaks founder, holed up in the Ecuadorian embassy. What about Snowden? Americans took his passport off him. Now he's had to seek shelter in Russia. Gary Davis, he spoke at college campuses, he lectured, he wrote books. He seemed impervious to his critics. He's just, Look, his voice is trained to reach the last audience in the back balconies of Broadway. He played Broadway. Yeah, he would segue with utter relish into minutely argued ideas, arguments for the need of a world without nationalism. Well, for example, the nation state is a political fiction, perpetuates anarchy, the breeding ground for war. Yeah. Put it more bluntly, allegiance to a nation, collective suicide pact. Well, the quest for a unified Earth, he trained his sights on that very early. There were three underlying influences that blended. The first was he grew up. He was somewhat uncomfortable with the great privilege of his childhood. His grief at his brother's murder, World War II, and the horror of his own experience with a bomber pilot on a B-17 in World War II, firebombing those German cities. Brandenburg. Yeah, okay, child of great privilege. Yeah, Gary Davis, he was born in Bar Harbor, Maine. 1921, his father, Mayor Davis, renowned society orchestra leader, was known. His dad was the millionaire maestro. He had over 1,000 musicians working for him, 80 ensembles. They played presidential inaugurations, debutante balls, national conventions. He was reared in Philadelphia, glittering milieu, where the family car was a Rolls Royce with a chauffeur. Family friends, Hollywood stars. Oh yeah, Bob Hope's here for lunch. A young man who was considered unserious, had a roguish wit, no direction. Then, the United States entered World War II, yeah. Gary, he joined the Army, Air Force, and his brother, Bud, joined the Navy. Bud never came home. Yeah, he was killed, 1943. His destroyer, the Buck, sunk by a German submarine, yeah. So, the death of his brother, and then his own dark epiphany during a bombing run over Brandenburg, Germany. He wrote in his book, My Country is the World, ever since my first mission over Brandenburg, I felt pangs of conscience. How many bombs have I personally dropped? How many men, women, children have I murdered? Wasn't there another way? I keep asking myself, yeah. The other way he came to believe was to eradicate conflict by eradicating borders. So, November 1948, I was 1 year old at the time. He renounced his citizenship. Then he stormed the United Nations session being held in Paris, and he shouts out, "We the people want the peace which only a world government can offer." Shouting out, acting up, murdered countless humans. Shouting. The sovereign states you represent are leading us to the abyss of total war. Oh, the world press just picked up on a huge spread in Life magazine in America. Yeah. What? Because it rang true. I mean, Europe had just been ravaged by World War II. Yeah. And he got the support of the European intelligentsia. Albert Camus. And 2 weeks after that, he spoke in Paris. How many people showed up to listen to him? 20,000. 1949, huh? Gary Davis, yeah. He started the International Registry of World Citizens. He was so inundated by people anxious to join him. He said, we're bigger than Andorra. We got over 250,000 people already signed up. 950,000 registered world citizens. Well, this one world vision increasingly occupied him. Demand for his documents were so brisk. 500,000 passports issued. 500,000? No statistics on the number of people who successfully used them. 6 countries, Burkina Faso, Ecuador, Mauritania, Tanzania, Togo, Zambia. These officially outright recognized that as a valid document to get in and out of their countries. And more than 150 nations have accepted on a case-by-case basis, including myself. I've got 12 different nationalities stamped in my original world passport. In fact, it's in the archives now of the World Citizen Headquarters in Washington, D.C. That document. Yeah, it's printed in 7 languages, including Esperanto, artificial universal language. And he carried World Passport number 1, and he spent decades spreading his message, slipping across borders, stowing away in ships, sweet-talking his way into countries or wearing them down to let him in. And the world press charted his every coming and going. Gary Davis, arrested dozens of times for attempting to enter a country without official papers. And he had uncanny ways. Remember, he's a Broadway song and dance man. They wanted to deport him from France to the United States. He didn't want it. So what did he do? He goes into a prestigious lingerie shop in London. And he out front blatantly steals black garter belts, brassieres, lace petticoats, to intentionally get arrested. And the French couldn't had to process him for that. Couldn't get rid of him. Yeah. And he had a passport delivered to Julian Assange while he was holed up in the Ecuadorian embassy, the founder of WikiLeaks. He made sure he had one if it would help him out. And just a few weeks before he died, he worked with the Russian authorities to get a passport to Mr. Snowden, if that would be of any use to him. That national fugitive, national security contractor accused of violating espionage laws. The Americans just grabbed his passport back. Well, okay, that's it. That's the historical lineage of the Earthpeople movement. That's what we build on. That's our foundation stone, Gary Davis and the world citizens. And, to recap, both Gary and I were adept at karma yoga, the yoga of symbolic action that accelerates and dramatizes universal truths. Gary was 27 when he stormed the UN, 1948. I was 24 when I made my big scene in Madras. We're both brilliant exemplars of karma yoga. Gary Davis, myself, song and dance man, yeah. Spiritual hustlers? One world protest, peace mission. We risk prison every time we cross a land border with these kind of documents. And nations impede us from jetting around the world at will. We sacrifice planetary mysticism We'll never be able to see all of the most beautiful parts of our planet. You know, to get something, you got to give up something. It's not complicated. Well, we gave up mobility. Can't jet set around anymore. To authentically live out 24/7 our world citizen, Earth people vision. And if the original Earth people world citizen speaks to you, just search worldservice.org. They're still doing everything they've been doing before Gary died. Rescuing stranded refugees in squalid camps as best they can under the circumstances by providing common, dispossessed humans with fully legal but often unrecognizable, the nations don't want to lose their power, grip on the common people. World identity documents. Working pro bono, the world government has sophisticated lawyers. I mean, I could call any time with my world passport, explain my situation, and I have a lawyer to help me. The world government serves in spirit, like Amnesty International. Well, perhaps you're more, you can relate more to my lifestyle. Yeah, an old weed smoking hippie who can tell a good story. If you prefer printed photographs, written word, yeah, just have them mailed to your doorstep on Amazon. But that's not all. To understand how I woke up to become an Earth person, view my documentary film, There Are No Foreign People. I'm going to place, it's just one clip. It's 59 minutes, edited by an Academy Award editor, special effects artist for Star Wars. Yeah. Tigo. Took us 3 years and 4 months to make 59 minutes. And this film is my stage show. We filmed one of my stage shows at the prestigious 10,000-acre Hot Springs Resort, Northern California, live audience. And you want any more juice, or you want to contact me or the Earth People, just go to our website, earthpeopleworldheadquarters.com, click contact. You can leave your message and email address. So we're available. Yeah. Accessible. We're friendly. Oh. Well, yeah, perhaps you're touched or moved by our Earth People philosophy. You might want to volunteer. You might want to donate something. I just got donated a Mazda SUV. Yeah, it's right there. Makes my life a lot easier. I own this land I've been talking about too. Beautiful old growth. Oh, you'll hear about that in a minute. Well, yeah, and perhaps you are a world citizen number 3. Gary Davis, world citizen number 1, 1948. Now dead. Earthman, world citizen number 2, 1971. 74 years old, huh? Oh, there is no world citizen number 3 yet. So just question mark. So who is it, and when would that happen? It's time for a young rebel to step up to protect our goddess Earth. Anybody hear me out there? Yeah, my videos and books, he'll lighten your spirit, make you laugh out loud, and he'll heal your dispirited heart. This seemingly endless isolation due to COVID-19, I've taken to doing jigsaw puzzles. I have 30 of them in my shack. 1,000 pieces. They've been rated how snappability they are. I've really almost lost it. I just like watch my own videos to cheer myself up. So what I say is do not despair. These are all free. Copy Earth People videos and share. All right. Finally, the future of the Earth People vision. You fresh young soul on the planet, perhaps neither the life of Gary Davis nor my journey seems relevant to you. I mean, he's dead, huh? I'm 74, videoing my memoirs. Well, yeah, we just lost another old-timer, 79-year-old Marvin Surwitz started the first Earth Community Center in the United States in Hamtramck, Polish auto worker neighborhood. Yeah, he had the auto workers coming in with their hard hats in hand, eating our vegetarian food. Yeah, we were organizing the auto workers in the 60s to become Earth people. I'm from Michigan. So is Michael Moore. Mm-hmm. So what's up with you? You might be a preteen in junior high school, falling in love for the first time, university student, maybe you're a millennial seeking a kindred spirit to inspire you through rap music, TikTok, video games, hip electronic devices. Perhaps you relate to the Swedish teenager Greta Thunberg, who shouted her truth at the embarrassed United Nations diplomats. Save our world from climate change apocalypse. Yeah, the youth. The future is yours. I'm 74, and, my life mission to teach humanity about Earth people. Naturally winding down. Appropriate moment for me to pass on the leadership. So today, October 1st, 2017, I'm recording this, I pass on the Earth People movement to Andre. Open-hearted millennial, lives mostly in San Francisco area, digital native, tech-savvy programmer. He's created a video game, brilliant programmer, podcast, cryptocurrencies. I'm living the last chapter in the Wheel of Life of Buddhism. And we've been trained to stay focused on reality, don't look away. I might be dead in 6 months. Who knows? During this pandemic. Well, intuitive wisdom, it's time to stop, gift my vision to the younger folks who have more skillful means. To transcend and to include the world citizen movement of Gary Davis, the Earth People movement of Earthman, and live that out, more evolved, in a more evolved global way that I couldn't possibly even imagine. So my private wish, in the closing chapter of my life, is to merge with true reality. To transcend the sad, agonizing, optical delusion of, what's common waking consciousness. My guide, Ken Wilber, would express this as you are not living in the room. The room is living in you. 74. Deeply peaceful, grateful. I live in a jungle shack here, no running water. I like this humble, minimalist, yogic situation. I'm radiant, fulfilled. I choose to live simply. And why I am happy and radiant is because I have fulfilled and adeptly passed forward the message of the Earth People. The message that I was born to deliver. I've delivered. I chant love songs to the gods and goddesses on the subtle plane within me. Wander silently alone in the jungle. Well, to celebrate our 50th anniversary, our Earthpeople family is purchasing 3 acres of pristine old growth Hawaii. This could be 200 years ago in Hawaii. Banyan trees, mango trees, more than 150 years old. Yeah, we do this to create Earth Temple Hawaii to complement our other Earth temples in various Earth zones around the planet. Yeah, and like Alex and Allison Gray, we Earth people feel, create New Age temples. It's essential. We're talking about external physical manifestations. I mean, inner temple sanctuaries, they're easy to conjure up. Just use your imagination. But external, outer temples are more challenging to build. You're working in a denser, more exposed to dark forces medium of reality. An external reality subject to hurricanes, lava flows, falling trees, coconuts, termites, neighbor hassles, interpersonal disharmonies, theft, and a sustainable cash flow. Yeah. Well, the reward of the challenge is we get to pass it all on. Yeah, to younger generations. And we create a safe space where digital nomads and spiritualists take refuge. And most significantly of all, where Earth Goddess, nature, surrounds you and loves you because you are safeguarding her divinity. O Mana Padme Hut. May all be.